If you use the 4-year cycle, that means November-ish, October-ish, we would just be hitting 60K. So I don't know if we can go from 60K to doubling in 2 months, or, you know, I think we're closer to 60K at the end of 2024. I like Bitcoin. You like Bitcoin?
I like it.
All right, we do have a $4.99 super chat from Corey. Cheers, just put 2K into XRP and Algo. Love the channel. All right, I feel pretty good about that 2 years from now, but if it's in the red a month from now, don't blame me. Blame that guy. All right, no, we're kidding. All right, Twitter partners with eToro to let users trade stocks, crypto, as Musk pushes app into finance. Now, again, Elon has denied these rumors, but it looks like starting Thursday, he'll give users the option to buy and sell stocks and other assets. The company told CNBC exclusively. Maybe Elon's more rejecting the idea of the everything, but this is a rare partnership deal for Twitter since he took the reins as CEO. He's made it his mission to call it the super app here. They'll allow him to access stocks, crypto, and other financial assets with the partnership, eToro. And with that, the cash tags will be expanded to cover far more instruments and asset classes, an eToro spokesperson told CNBC. eToro is founded in Israel in 2007, and it's an online brokerage that allows users to buy and sell stocks, cryptocurrencies, and index funds. Do you own any index funds? I might buy my first mutual fund.
I don't own anything there. What's interesting here is going to be who ends up winning this battle. And, you know, in the article, first of all, the first thing we should mention is the source of this information is a kind of sketchy one. We talked about him yesterday. It's Semaphore. Yeah. We know Elon does not like Semaphore. He's one of the ones that ousted Semaphore when it comes to the situation happening with the Binance and now the U.S. government ordeal. But they are the ones breaking this news this morning, and they reference eToro and Robinhood because these would be the only two options at the moment, unless Elon builds a brand new platform. These are the only two that would offer what's being rumored that they're going to do. Yeah. And I have a question for the audience. I mean, and a question for you too, DZ. Which would you prefer him to use, eToro or Robinhood? They have their pluses, they have their minuses.
I can't get over Vlad looking so much like a vampire. Yeah. I'm just going to go with eToro off that very baseless and auspicious reason.
Do you know the fees on eToro for crypto?
I've never used eToro, so I could not tell you what the fees are like.
I bought Dogecoin once in my life. I went and got eToro to do so. eToro on crypto charges 1% for every buy and every sell.
That's pretty rough. Now, I'm assuming there's a maximum though too, right?
No. Just
blatant. You're confirming 1%. If it's $1 million buy, it's 10K.
At least according to their website, on their website, there is no, like, you know, Coinbase has like the levels of like, if you buy this much, it's this.
I think it's a $25 maximum.
It just says 1% across the board.
Okay, 1%. Yeah. Corey's he's going for the 2 years from now outlook. All right. We have a video Elon posted in the wee hours of the night. This is about 7 hours ago, maybe 6 hours ago. Let's play that thing. Do we have sound?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's just kind of chatting. Hang on.
Just Elon having a good time.
There we go.
Surprisingly cheap ceilings.
Really? Hey guys, you were on too. Welcome.
You get comments too.
He curls at 45.
All right, let's see.
Not 100-pound weight like Cuomo.
He's curling Zuckerberg's weight right there.
Me, curling at 45.
Oh my gosh.
He did it pretty easily.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe he's working out, folks. Do you think Elon's working out, chat?
Looks like our video feature is working better.
I think he is. All right.
Better than the sort of 8-bit.
All right. Now, Elon, he's definitely one of the main memers of the internet. Here we have a little graphic. One app to rule them all, as the X, looks pretty close to the Eye of Sauron. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. All right. Well, what are your thoughts on the super app? Would you like to have a super app in America, or do you like, everything kind of being separated so it's less worry of a all-out attack, less points of danger?
Fair point. When you spread it out, there's a little more security with that. But just think about the ease it would be to do everything
Yeah.
on the one place.
I
if
want it personally.
if there's anyone out there that I believe that can get this done, it is Elon Musk. And if the rumors are true, because again, right now we're kind of in a wrestling match. Is Elon actually doing this platform thing that everyone's rumoring, or is it not? But either way, it looks like he's starting his claim to be that one site that's the end all be all of everything. He says before he thinks that X could take 50% of all the financial actions within the next couple of years. I'm like,
basically that's him saying he's capturing the West.
Yeah.
That's how I read that. WeChat's going to capture the right. He's probably not going to be able to make any serious headways within China. They have chosen WeChat. They have backdoors in WeChat. Of course, the CCP is heavily involved in all WeChat encryption issues or lack thereof. And so I think he's going to try to have the super app of the West.
Yeah.
Now, chat, who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Jeff Bezos? Is it going to be Elon Musk? I think it's going to be one of those two. I think Mark Zuckerberg might really try once we have the Ray-Ban Ocular. He's going to try to take over with the AR angle. I think by then it might be too late and we're all just going to kind of be used to sending money with our phone. Do you really want to send money with your glasses and you're like touching the air, like send Tim $20 for the burrito? I don't know. I think people just rather do beep, boop, boop, and then send it with their phone. We're going to briefly interrupt this. I just want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Steak. Big shout out to Steak. We love them. Elon does have the walrus move advantage. Just saying. I mean, that is a tough move to beat. It's going to be, it's a serious move. It's up there with like rear naked chokehold and the figure 4 leg lock, I believe, and the torture rack. It is up there with all those. I'm betting on Elon between Elon and Zuck, although Zuck is a very, very capable manager, obviously capable CEO. I think Elon's just a little bit more capable. And I think he gets the changing shifts of culture a lot better than Jeff Bezos. Here's my Jeff Bezos impression. That's a funny joke. Ha, 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 ha. And it comes off a little unnatural, and Elon just seems a little bit more real. He seems like a more real human being.
Elon would use Elon would be in a fight with Zuck, and he'd do the oil check.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Those who don't know, the wrestling oil check is you're putting the finger, dipstick, checking the oil, folks. Raul says like in Free Guy, great movie. All right, let's move on and talk about Bitcoin. I know some people want to talk about Bitcoin. Kelly Boy liked the torture rack reference. That was Lex Luger, I believe. All right, Bitcoin whales accumulate. All right, that's 2 wrestling references. No more, don't worry. Bitcoin whales accumulate 59.2% of circulating supply. Data shows. So the whales have 60% of all the corn. Post-analysis revealed that a relatively small cohort of addresses is amassing a considerable amount of the currency's circulating supply, with a total of 15,000 addresses, each holding over 100, collectively commanding 11.5 million coins. Well, it is important to realize here, there's a lot of centralized exchanges. So when you take out Binance wallet, you take out Coinbase wallet, you take out eToro wallet, you take out Jack's Block's 8,000 Bitcoin wallet, then it starts to look a little bit more decentralized. But, a lot of people are okay holding their Bitcoin on a centralized exchange. I wouldn't, recommend doing it in any serious, heavy manner, any high percentage manner. But a lot of people like the convenience. I have a okay amount on Coinbase. I'm not going to chastise you for that. It's worth noting that the total number of addresses created on the chain has recently surpassed the 1 billion mark. Although out of these addresses, those with the balance are only around 45 million, as most created addresses do not currently have a balance on them. Moreover, London-based banking and financial services firm Standard Chartered has suggested that the price of Bitcoin could surge to 50K this year and then could breach 120K by 2024's close, and another major bullish price prediction for Bitcoin. I don't know if we're going to go that high. If you want to, rewind 4 years, December 2020, we just hit new all-time high. We just hit 20K. If you use the 4-year cycle, that means November-ish, October-ish, we would just be hitting 60K. So I don't know if we can go from 60K to doubling in 2 months, or, I think we're closer to 60K at the end of 2024. What's your year-end 2024 price prediction? I know it's, you probably need to think about it a little bit more. I'm throwing it out there, 69K.
Yeah, well, the first thing I'll say is 50K is not going to happen in 2023, barring we find out about Bitcoin ETFs within the next couple of weeks. That's probably the only thing left that would be able to pump it that high. And even that, I don't think would do it. Those things take a while before the real money comes in. End of 2024, I think there's a decent chance that before the end, we might double top with that 69, maybe set a brand new all-time high. But if we're asking December 31st, I don't know. Like, I think we'll be wrestling close to that area, but I think it'll be a little lower.
All right, will you watch Zuck Musk cage match? 70% are saying yes. All right, Bitcoin holdings on over-the-counter desk decline 33%. OTC desk balances are widely considered a proxy for institutional activity. Still, caution is warranted when drawing conclusions. Those held in addresses tied to the OTC market. If you don't know what the OTC market is, a whale wants to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. He doesn't go into an exchange and clear the order books where his first Bitcoin is $2,000 cheaper than his last Bitcoin.
Right.
He's going to go to an over-the-counter person who wants to sell $1 billion Bitcoin, and they don't want the first Bitcoin they sell to be $2,000 more expensive than the last Bitcoin they sell. Yeah. So they have aligned incentives, and so they'll meet in a park with some briefcases. You know, they'll sit down with the newspaper. I don't think it works that way. They meet in a hotel lobby in Dubai, and then they like open up their balances, and then they do it that way. It just makes it where, you know, they settle on a price and they don't impact the markets too much with these large purchases. As of Thursday, the so-called OTC balance stood at 5,000 Bitcoin, or about 150 million of the market cap, and that's a 33% slide from the one-year high of about 7,600 Bitcoin at the end of June. So that's going to fluctuate. High-volume traders and institutions typically deal with OTC desks to avoid affecting the market price of the asset. For that reason, activity is said to reflect the behavior of large, sophisticated traders. In the past, some analysts have associated upticks and downticks in OTC desk balances with miners' intentions to run down their coin stash there. So just something to watch out, but I wouldn't worry too much just yet, just because it's down 33%. Really not too much when you're comparing it to the all-time high for the year there.